Today on X-Play, our summer game preview week continues with world premiere previews of Two Humans, SOCOM Confrontation, and Little Big Planet.
Plus, all the breaking Grand Theft Auto 4 news you need to know. X-Play starts now.
Hello and welcome to X-Play Summer Games Preview Week. I am Morgan Webb.
And I'm Adam Sessler. We're coming to you from the G4 Studios in Los Angeles on Tuesday, April 29th.
And later in the show, we'll have a sneak peek at this week's Zero Punctuation review of God of War Chains of Olympus. But first, let's get all of the top headlines in today's gaming update.
Well, last night, gamers around the world got their first chance to pick up a copy of Rockstar's highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 4, which X-Play gave a 5 out of 5. So far, the game's launch has been solid, with this week's sales projections nearing 9 million copies. Now, there have been unconfirmed rumors regarding game freezes on the 60-gig PS3, and it's unclear as to whether or not this is an error in the manufacturing of the game disc or the PS3's hardware, nor how pervasive this problem actually is. X-Play will continue to follow that story as it develops. Meanwhile, Electronic Arts has reiterated that their $2 billion buyout offer for GTA 4's publisher Take-Two Interactive will not be affected by the sales numbers of GTA 4, and they said that their bid is not based on the company's short-term appraisal. In regards to the game's overall sales for the year, Take-Two CEO Ben Fetter has said that their expectations are very high, a lot higher than analysts give the game credit for. X-Play News producer Blair Herter witnessed the New York launch of Grand Theft Auto 4 in person and brings us an exclusive look at how the event unfolded.
Here in New York, Grand Theft Auto 4, Ground Zero. Countdown clock, about 7 minutes left. It's about to go down. I'm gonna get out of the way before I get stampeded.
The excitement of seeing people stand in line for hours, not just here in New York, but across the country, and then actually make that very first sale at 12:01 it's a wonderful feeling.
You just got the game? Yes. How do you feel right now? I'm shaking. You can't really see, but I'm shaking inside. I can't wait to get to Liberty City, man. I can't wait. I'm so hyped. Well, there you have it, folks. As you can see behind me, the clock says 0, which means that I have nothing left to do here tonight. I'm gonna get my coffee and go home and play.
Of course, going home means coming back to Los Angeles. Well, that's it for today's gaming update. For more breaking news, be sure to check out G4 On Demand or head over to our website, g4tv.com/xplay. But now let's go over to Morgan, who's about to get cybernetically enhanced.
The development process on Deus Ex Magnum Opus began over 9 years ago, but as you'll see, the wait is almost over and definitely worth it. Here's the first part of our world premiere all-access look at Two Humans.
It's Dennis Dyack. He's the director of Two Human, of course, the president of Silicon Knights. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Two Human, its story, we're dealing with something that's rooted in some classic mythology that has quite a bit of a sci-fi cybernetic angle. Why did you decide to go in that direction?
So what we did is we said, we want to retell Norse mythology exactly, but if we're going to do it from a science fiction perspective, how do we do this? If this was something that happened a long time ago, if technology is advanced enough, it's indistinguishable from magic. So that was how we defined our gods. They're going to be so technologically advanced, they're going to seem superhuman or godlike to regular humans without the technology. And all the monsters became machines. So whether they're giants or some of the servants of hell, it's automatically a machine. So the first thing we did is say, okay, man versus machine. Everyone gets that. Everyone likes Viking, cybernetic gods, beating up robots. It's fun. But at the deepest level, and where I was inspired to first start thinking about this content, is the effects of technology on society, how they're both good and bad. And so we called the game Two Human because we want people to think about, at the deepest level, if you replaced your arm with a cybernetic arm, what would that mean to you as a human being?
You guys have always been very good at telling games and also having gameplay that fits with this. What is your strategy to be able to pull that off?
What we did is the game itself is a merger on many levels. So it's a fusion between action and RPG. It's a fusion between mythology and science fiction. And when we're creating the gameplay, we wanted to really make sure that you felt like a Viking god when you were killing your enemies and sweeping through them with all your different weapons, whether you're using guns or whether you're using hammers or swords.
Now, of all the characters in Norse mythology, Baldur is not the one that stands out the most. Why go with a lesser character when we have Thor and we have Hel?
That will come up in the first story. And the theme of the first story is discovery. That's one of the things you'll discover, why Baldur. And because he's mostly silent, it allows us to have a lot of creativity throughout the whole story. Where in Odin, in Heimdall, or Loki, they're really well described throughout the mythologies. Where Baldur, there's a few pieces where we can go, we can interpret all this, and we're trying to be as authentic to the mythologies as possible. Everything that happens there, we try to make sure it happens into human, but with our interpretation and science fiction spin, of course. So from that perspective, it was really exciting. And without giving away any spoilers, every time someone asks a question of why Baldur, we're going to answer that in the story, and we think people are going to go, oh, I get it, that's why this is cool.
It sounds very exciting, too. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
You know, we're going to have brand new Two Human footage every night this week. You don't want to miss it. Every morsel is great. Now, Little Big Planet has been hyped as a killer app for the PS3, but with the inclusion of dazzling interactive environments, super cute building materials, and adorable sack girls and boys be enough to fulfill this prophecy, we're about to get a world broadcast premiere hands-on demo and find out. Little Big Planet was unveiled with a bang at GDC in 2007, and the game is almost here. Developed by Media Molecule exclusively for the PlayStation 3, this do-it-yourself platformer encourages teamwork and creativity. You can play online co-op with your friends or design your own levels and share them with the world. The possibilities are endless. Joining us today, senior producer at Sony Computer Entertainment America, Kyle Schubel. Thank you for stopping by and bringing us Little Big Planet.
Glad to be here.
All right, let's get started. We're going to get started getting dressed a little bit. We have our friends.
Oh, yes.
And they've got some football helmets. I see they're ready for some serious action.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we got going on here. Somebody's got a wig on and then a nice little Day of the Dead with a crash helmet. I get the feeling we're going to probably be seeing somebody doing something crazy then.
And so, you know, of course, the big point of this game is customization. You can make your own levels. I mean, was this a user-created level?
This was actually a developer-created level, but it was using the same tools that the users will be able to create their levels with. So, in reality, any user could make this level quite easily.
So I could actually I have the exact same tools the developers are going to have. I can make the same fire pit.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's actually really easy to do. We make it very easy to get the comical death going on. That's actually something new. You see a checkpoint right there where they came back, somebody fell on the fire and died, quote unquote.
So there are ways to die, because I know that there's potentially the concern that the game's going to be really easy. You're just going to kind of walk through the game and you're not going to have any obstacles or enemies to fight.
No, we very much are going to have a very challenging physical environment. The physics engine in this game is quite robust, and we're going to put you in a bunch of dangerous spots and try and solve puzzles and play through an action platformer. But you will have some death, and there are some enemies. We call them meanies. They're not really enemies in the conventional run around shooting kind of sense, but you will have dangerous enemies that are moving around in the environment.
So I assume, like, when I'm the designer, I'm not going to have access to everything that I see here right out of the gate.
No. Now, we're going to give you a very, very limited subset of what you can build things with. A few textures, a few materials, and as you're playing through our levels, the levels that Media Molecule puts on the disc, you're going to have 50 levels to go through, and in there you're going to have Easter eggs, and those Easter eggs will give you a new texture, a new material, a new object, a sardine can, a different kind of thing to put in your levels. So if you play through the entire game, you can unlock everything that we have to make our levels, so you can make your own.
So basically you're motivated to play sort of the single-player campaign.
Yes.
But you can also play locally with a friend, and we're talking about the multiplayer options that we're going to see.
Well, multiplayer is going to be several layers. Right now we've got 2 players playing on a single PS3. You can actually put up to 4 players in a game, and you can play them online or offline. So we can have any combination of 1 to 4 players on 1 to 4 PS3s.
And what kind of downloadable content is going to be available? Is this all going to be user-generated, or?
It's going to be predominantly user-generated. Right now we can have over 1 million levels on a single planet, and we can expand to multiple planets. So you've got infinite expansion for the end users.
How am I going to be able to find these levels? I mean, if we're going to be talking about a million different levels, and you know one's made by some like 4-year-old kid,
Yep.
and it's not going to be very good, and then there's going to be an awesome one made by an artist, and how are you going to be able to find the good one?
When you go online, you're going to be able to search by not only how popular it is, how new it is, you'll be able to search for the ones my friends make. You can play through somebody's level, like their level, and say, find me other levels made by this guy. So this guy's got talent, I'm going to hunt him down. When you play through a level, you can also rate it. So you can actually say, hey, this one thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, this got 5 stars. I want to see all the 5-star levels that have been played in the last week. So you'll actually distill out to the best of the best if you so choose.
And talk about a little bit about the options as well that we can see. You can create your avatar. Do you think people are going to be really attached to the avatars that they create and be able to get sort of unique clothing items? Or
Yes, I do. And we're not only giving you a bunch of costume items that you can use, we're also giving you the ability to customize your costume. So you can take the pirate hat that we've got on there and you can paint it, or you can put little bouncy stars on springs on it, and you can build that out. You can then put that in an Easter egg in your level. So you can make it something that I'm so proud of, this insert object here, this outfit, this car, this tank, this hat. Put it in an Easter egg, you play through my level, you get it.
Okay, the question on everybody's mind, when are we going to have it in our homes?
Little Big Plan will be coming to the PS3 this fall, September, October time frame, but we're going to try and get something in your hands a little bit before that, and it is an online title, so expect a public beta sometime this summer for a few lucky folks in the press, and a few folks out there will also get their hands on it. We'll try and make it as big as we can. How's that?
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Morgan.
Let's send it back over to Adam.
I can't wait for that game. On June 1st, Code Monkeys, the smash hit animated comedy of 8-bit proportions, returns to G4 for Season 2. Catch all new episodes of the critically acclaimed comedy starting June 1st, only on G4. And check out g4tv.com/Code Monkeys for more info and updates. And with that, we'll be right back.
Coming up on X-Play, we've got a world television premiere preview of SOCOM Confrontation. Kristen Holt is here with a Grand Theft Auto 4 cheat that will keep your guns blazing. Then, we get an exclusive sneak peek at the zero punctuation review of God of War, Chains of Olympus.
.4052 or visit us on the web.
It's unanimous. Fans and critics agree Attack of the Show is time well wasted. One of the coolest shows on TV, more ballsy in its journalism than 60 Minutes.
What will the fanatical religious right hate more? The fact that there's witchcraft in the book, or that there's a gay headmaster?
AOTS doesn't push the envelope, they lick it. Yeah! I attain techno bliss.
I think you should just take it out and show everybody what you got.
The show that gets it before it gets out. Attack of the Show, weeknights at 7 and 10, only on G4.
Welcome back to X-Play's Summer Games Preview. The new shooting system in Grand Theft Auto 4 can take a little getting used to. If you find your bullets going astray, do what I do. Turn to Kristen Holt for help.
Thanks, Morgan. All right, follow these tips and your homicidal rampages will be more deadly and efficient. And really, isn't that what we all want in life? GTA 4's Euphoria animation engine allows people you shoot to react to the body part you hit. Use this to your advantage when you got a runner. Instead of the challenging headshot, go for the legs. They'll go down fast, giving you time to stroll up and finish them off. Sometimes it's hard to tell when your enemy is dead. You can shoot someone a million times and they'll pop back up at the last minute like the Evil Dead. When they finally kick the bucket, they'll drop whatever weapon they are carrying. Dropped weapons have an orange glow. If you don't see that orange, they can still fight back. Wait for the glow, and you're good to go. But hey, let's throw caution to the wind. Dying in this game doesn't result in losing all of your weapons. Getting arrested will, but dying's okay. Your hospital bill is a percentage of your total money, so learn and experiment early on, because it's not going to cost you too much to bite the big one when you're broke. Be sure to check g4tv.com/cheat for the latest tips and tricks. Right now, I'm going to send it back over to Adam.
All right, thank you, Kristen. Now, just because we're previewing the summer's biggest games doesn't mean we can't take a second to have a laugh with our favorite Brit reviewer. Sorry, David Quinlan. Here's Yahtzee's latest opus, the zero punctuation review of God of War, Chains of Olympus.
There's some variation early on, but sooner or later every God of War game goes through the same motions. You always end up at the temple of such and such having to prove your worth, which is another thing Kratos has to do with anomalous frequency. Makes me wonder why he didn't ask for a signed certificate after the first time. I'm not really sure how I feel about the rigidly unchanging formula though, because while forcing the same Minotaur to give your dagger a terminal does get old after a while, I'm always the first to cry foul when developers wipe their all over a good thing just for innovation's sake. And there's nothing about God of War that really needs changing. It all fits quite nicely together like furious blood-stained stickle bricks. Well, okay, there are certainly more than a few nitpicks I can make, and I wouldn't be the critic I like to think I am if I didn't furiously pick nits like an amphetamine-fueled chimp. The fixed camera gets annoying when there are enemies off-screen. At least half the spells and attacks you get loaded down with throughout the game generally prove to be bloody useless. Around weaker enemies, there's really no reason to use anything other than the instant kill grab attack, or as I like to call it, the button. And there's a terrible habit of having unskippable cutscenes just before really hard boss fights, because obviously after getting our gonads shoved down our throats, watching the same tedious dialogue play out a sixth time is just the kind of respite we need. I've just realised I haven't even mentioned what kind of game it is yet, because I assume most viewers already know, but if you're one of those girlfriends of viewers who don't actually play games but likes watching these videos anyway because they secretly want to me, God of War is basically Devil May Cry meets Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah, that pretty much does describe it. Remember, you can get Zero Punctuation's full uncensored review of God of War, Chains of Olympus only at escapistmagazine.com, and X-Play will have new previews every Tuesday night.
Now, when X-Play returns, we join the Navy SEALs and check out SOCOM Confrontation. It is the first time you can see this footage, so be here when we come back.
We're on the road. Download this show now as a G4 podcast.
Welcome back to X-Play Summer Games Preview. Now, following in the footsteps of Warhawk, the latest SOCOM game is an online multiplayer-only affair. It's something of a departure from what we're used to seeing in the series, and wait until you see what it looks like. Here's your world broadcast premiere all access pass to SOCOM Confrontation. SOCOM Confrontation. The very mention of the latest in the series of tactical shooters is enough to make you special ops junkies salivate. But while you were sitting there at home trying to download the latest screen grab, we took the initiative and traveled to the Great White North to visit Slant 6, where we talked with the game's creators about everything SOCOM.
One of the key features of SOCOM is the online play. When we're looking at bringing the SOCOM experience onto the PlayStation 3, we wanted to focus more on that online play.
SOCOM Confrontation is going to be online only, with no single-player campaign. We wanted to know how that affected the creation process of the game.
Right from the beginning, we knew that we were concentrating on multiplayer only, which really puts us in a position to push that forward, to do new things and really achieve the level of complexity that people haven't really been able to experience in a multiplayer game yet.
Really, the story of an online game like this is basically played out by the clans and the international ladders and the tournaments. It's basically a huge competitive thing that unfolds over the next couple of years.
You'll be able to join up with like-minded soldiers in online clans, which you'll be able to run even when you're not in-game.
On SOCOM.com, you'll also be able to go in and manage your clan. You'll be able to accept clan invites, invite other people, do all kinds of clan features, as well as just plan out your schedule and look at your calendar of upcoming events.
With that kind of development process from the ground up in mind, there are plenty of changes to lure SOCOM vets back to the game.
There are a bunch of evolutionary features in Confrontation that add to the gameplay from classic SOCOM. We've added true physics to the grenade system, so grenades can now be thrown as before, but they can also be lobbed or rolled along the ground, and those are handled as physics objects, and that opens up a lot of possibilities.
Even the graphics themselves have gotten a much-needed overhaul. As you can see here, the visuals are on par with other graphics-intensive games like Metal Gear Solid 4 and Call of Duty 4. So expect crystal-clear battlegrounds with sight lines from Cairo to Casablanca.
They have breached our perimeter! Kill them!
Add to all that innovative new chat features that mimic real-life battle conditions, and you have an immersive war zone that wouldn't be unfamiliar to Stormin' Norman Schwarzkopf.
With SOCOM Confrontation, we have two different forms of using the voice chat. So it really sounds like your character in the game is talking. You'll be able to use that to coordinate with your teammates, but you also have to be careful because enemies will be able to overhear your conversations as well.
With other exciting features like new camera angles, downloadable content, and specialized weapons, the bar is being raised for special ops shooters. SOCOM Confrontation will start appearing on shelves and streaming through the PlayStation Network this September.
For a pre-alpha build, SOCOM Confrontation has definitely taken a huge leap for the franchise. And if the gameplay matches the graphics, this one could be a huge boost for Sony's PlayStation Network. Okay, if you loved our world premiere look at Too Human on today's show, you can catch even more on that game and others tomorrow night. Here's what's coming up.
Tomorrow on X-Play, Summer Games Preview Week continues with our exclusive look at LEGO Indiana Jones. We preview all of the hack and slash action of Ninja Gaiden 2 for the 360. Plus, we have a world premiere look at the combat of Too Human. And on Thursday, Morgan gets her hands on The Force Unleashed. X-Play Summer Games Preview continues tomorrow night at 8. Check out g4tv.com/xplay for more info and updates.
And if that's not enough, we also preview that other big fighting franchise, Soul Calibur 4.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We have a lot of great stuff coming up this week. It was great to see Little Big Planet today. Get our hands on it. Check it out.
It just makes you smile.
I know it does. We also have great stuff. We have Force Unleashed for the Xbox 360 and the Wii, which is pretty exciting. We have LEGO Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, this just means that this summer's not going to suck.
It's going to be fantastic. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.